The Silver Locket and the Golden Lesson. Some treasures grow more precious with every year that passes. 1. Prologue, The Attic Discovery. On a rainy Saturday afternoon, Maya climbed the narrow stairs to her grandmother's attic. Shadows danced across dusty trunks and faded wallpaper. At the very back, beneath a moth-eaten quilt, she found a small wooden chest carved with delicate floral patterns. Her fingers trembled as she lifted its lid. Inside lay a tarnished silver locket, its chain coiled like a resting snake. She opened it, revealing two tiny, sepia-toned photographs, one of her grandmother as a young woman in the 1940s, radiant in a simple cotton dress, the other of a young man in military uniform, his piercing eyes full of hope. Written on a scrap of yellowed paper was a single line in elegant script. "For my darling Eliza, till gold turns silver." Maya felt her chest tighten. What story lay hidden here? 2. Flashback, A Promise in Wartime. 75 years earlier, in a small English village battered by war, Eliza Thompson was the local schoolteacher. She carried children's laughter in her heart even as air raid sirens wailed. One autumn evening, she met Private Daniel Miller at a village dance. They talked under strings of paper lanterns, discovering shared dreams, Eliza's hope to open a library, Daniel's dream to travel the world when the war ended. Before he shipped out to France, Daniel pressed the silver locket into her palm. "Gold for your future, silver for our promise," he said, his voice catching. "Open it only if I come home." They danced one last time, footsteps echoing on the wooden floor, the locket swinging between them like a silent vow. 3. The silence that followed. Letters arrived at first, sweet nothings scrawled on ration paper stationery. Then, month after month of silence. The war had swallowed Daniel's letters, and perhaps him, when the Psalm artillery roared. Eliza, heartbroken but resolute, wrote on. She described books she read, poems she memorized, hopes she held. No reply ever came. As the locket lay heavy against her heart, she began to fill her own notebooks with stories, tales of brave heroines, boys who overcame fear, and worlds made better by a single act of kindness. She taught her students that even in the darkest times, imagination could light the way. 4. A New Beginning. Post-war Britain was a canvas waiting for fresh paint. Eliza opened a tiny library in the heart of her village, using scraps of her wedding savings. She pinned Daniel's letter, return address torn off, to the library's corkboard, as a reminder of love's endurance. Every evening, she took out the locket, polishing it until the silver gleamed like a sliver of morning light. Villagers whispered about the lucky library lady, how her faith lifted their spirits. Children tucked scraps of paper into the locket's velvet lining, drawing pictures of what awaited them beyond the village. 5. The Inheritance. Back in the attic, Maya traced the locket's filigree with her fingertip. She thought of her own grandmother, Eliza, who had passed away just 6 months earlier. In life, Grandma had been full of stories, of wartime dances, of stolen hugs in moonlit orchards, of the library that changed countless lives. Maya remembered curling up on Grandma's lap, listening to those tales as if they were the oldest, most precious songs. Now, at 28, Maya felt unmoored. She'd left her stable job in marketing a month ago, chasing a vague notion that life was passing her by. The attic's gloom felt like a mirror to her uncertainty. 6. Threads of silver, threads of gold. Maya clasped the locket around her neck. Immediately, comfort radiated through her collarbone, as if Eliza's spirit whispered, "Hold on." She carried it downstairs and sat at the kitchen table, sorting through Grandma's belongings, a faded library card, a stack of old visitor logs, and a scrapbook filled with thank-you notes from villagers who'd found hope in the library's dusty shelves. Among the letters was one from a young man named Thomas, who'd enlisted in a distant war in 1967. He wrote, "When I came home, I didn't know who I was. But your books, your words, guided me back." Maya realized that the true treasure wasn't just the locket or the wartime romance, it was the legacy of resilience, community, and boundless love. 7. the road ahead. Inspired, Maya packed her laptop and beloved journals into a worn satchel. She decided to transform her grandmother's legacy for today's world, launching Old is Gold, a channel celebrating the wisdom and warmth of the past. Every week, she'd share stories like Grandma's Library, interviews with elderly artisans, recipes for time-honored dishes, and reflections on how yesterday's lessons can guide our tomorrows. Armed with the silver locket, she set out on foot toward the local cafe, where she'd meet her first guest, Mr. Rajan, a retired watchmaker known for repairing timepieces that tick whispered histories. 8 echoes in a watchmaker's shop. The bell above the shop door tinkled as Maya entered. Walls lined with clocks, cuckoos, mantelpieces, pocket watches, all ticked in unison. Mr. Rajan, his hair a halo of silver, greeted her with a nod. On his workbench lay a broken heirloom watch, its tiny gears frozen like suspended moments. He held up a magnifying loupe. Every watch has a story. This one belonged to a soldier who never returned. His voice trembled. When I fix it, I feel like I'm giving him back some of his stolen time. Maya showed him the locket. My grandmother's story began in wartime, too. She told him about Eliza and Daniel. As she spoke, his eyes softened. You carry more than jewelry. You carry hope. They spent hours discussing how repairing old things, whether watches, books, or memories, can heal hearts and root us in something larger than ourselves. 9. A recipe from yesterday. That evening, Maya went home and cooked her grandmother's curry recipe, handwritten on a frayed index card. The spices crackled in the pan, cardamom, turmeric, cinnamon. As warm aromas filled the air, memories of childhood kitchen laughter returned. She filmed each step for her channel, sharing Grandma's tip, a pinch of patience makes every spice bloom. While stirring, Maya reflected, in an age of instant meals and microwave dinners, cooking slowly, measuring, tasting, adjusting, became an act of mindfulness, a bridge to those who came before. 10. Reflections by candlelight. Later, candles flickered in Maya's living room. She leaned back in an armchair, locket resting against her heart. The world outside raced forward, emails, social feeds, headlines, but here, time slowed. She opened her journal, pen poised. Today I learned that old things, like a silver locket, a ticking watch, or handwritten recipes, remind me who I am and where I came from. They teach me patience, gratitude, and wonder. In our search for novelty, we may overlook the treasures already in our hands. She paused, then wrote. Old is not obsolete. It's the foundation on which our future stands. 11. Epilogue, a promise renewed. Maya closed her journal and gazed at the locket's engraved flowers. In that moment, she understood Daniel's words, till gold turned silver. Gold, her grandmother's bright hope, had indeed turned silver, but not through tarnish. Through time's gentle embrace, it had grown more precious, more luminous. On screen, the logo, Old is Gold, shimmered into view. Maya's voice, calm and warm, delivered the closing line for her first video. Here on Old is Gold, we honor the past, not to live in yesterday, but to carry its wisdom forward. Because some things, like love and memory, only grow richer with time. And that is true gold. Thanks for watching. You're on Old is Gold, where age meets elegance. Subscribe for more heartfelt content.